Hey there. Welcome to the first video of Your Life, Your Quest, a YouTube channel where we discuss how to make life more enjoyable and fun like a video game. This has been something I've been researching and experimenting about for over the past decade. And by subscribing to this channel and watching the videos that I put out, you're going to learn more about this concept. And I'm sure I'll learn things from you too in the comments as we share ideas. Now, let me tell you a story about Raid Shadow Legends. Now, this is not a promo for Raid. In fact, I'd call it an anti promo. But let me tell you about what was happening with this game not so long ago. So, I kept seeing so many ads for this game. So many YouTubers are promoting it now, and I decided to give it a try. So, it was about a week in, and I quickly realized that in order to get the most advanced heroes, I think they call them champions in the game. So we're talking legendary tier. Takes a while. It's actually a surprisingly grindy game. You get these fragments and you summon and you have a very slim chance. It's almost kind of like a lottery, you could say. I think the game was actually started by a lottery company or like a gambling company. So I read online that I shouldn't just summon immediately for these heroes. I should wait for a special summoning event. And I remember this event, and it said 25 times chance increase for your legendary hero. I had such big expectations, like, all right, finally, I'm going to get the champions to get a awesome team. And I remember using up the shards that I saved up for free, playing the game for free. And would you believe it? I didn't get anything good. I looked at ratings for each of the champions and I'm just like, these all suck. No, my hopes, my dreams. And you know what I did? Rather than say and realize sometimes that's life. You don't always get, the max roll like in Dungeons and Dragons. You don't always roll a 20. No, I was like, temptation came in and I was like, let me spend a little bit of money. So I did. And I still didn't get what I was looking for. And then I spent a little bit more and I didn't. And I was getting frustrated. But then I had like a little moment of clarity. And I'm like, wait a second. So what's going on right now? I am frustrated that these pixels on a screen, I'm not getting the specific pixels that I want. And yet, just because of that, my mood is like frustrated. My mood is going down. And I caught myself and I'm like, what? This is such a first world problem. Now, I know we sometimes say first world problems and we laugh about it and say things like, how silly to be thinking about this when life could be so much more tough. And we could really be dealing with way more, let's say, challenging things about life. But rather than brush this off, I like to think deeply. A big thing I'm into is shower thoughts. I highly recommend you use a shower as reflective time if taking a shower is a relaxing space for you. I know a lot of people like to, listen to music or listen to something while they're in the shower. But I highly recommend every day at least have some sort of space to think deeply about life and imagine and brainstorm. It's really important. It doesn't have to be during the shower, but it should be sometime during the day. And I was thinking about what led up to me, like feeling this way. And I was realizing that, it's so easy to take a lot for granted. It's kind of like when you go shopping and you get those new shoes, you're so excited in the beginning and chemically in your brain, there is something going on. So the happy chemical or neurotransmitter known as dopamine's going up in your brain. You're feeling good. But of course, most people, after they get that nice pair of shoes 2-3 days later, maybe even more, it's just another pair of shoes. It's like they already take it for granted, and that's normal. Now, you ever notice yourself ever feeling really plugged into technology? And by that, I mean like you're working on a computer, maybe you go home, you're watching TV. When you're doing dishes, you're listening to music, and you're just always connected. Because I certainly have been a lot. And while that can seem good and can seem like to make it like makes life a little bit more enjoyable, right? I mean, maybe you hate washing dishes and listening to like some music or watching a funny YouTube video, it makes the process, a little bit less annoying. The thing is, when we keep like bombarding our mind with a lot of technology stimulus, well, normally when we first engage with something like out of the blue, like let's say we've been working for a while, let's say we've been on a nature hike for a while, and then maybe we watch like a 30-minute funny YouTube video, great, dopamine up. But when you stay connected with technology for like hours on end, actually that dopamine burst you get becomes less and less and less, kind of like a drug. Like I'm sure you've heard about drug addictions where someone like needs a little bit of a drug, they feel so good, but then they need more of that drug to feel the same happiness they needed. And then before you know it, they need a lot of the drug just to like get by in life, because if they don't have the drug, they feel like really like just down. Well, something that's really interesting is called the dopamine detox. You might have heard about this, but it's this concept where if you remove yourself from a lot of the feel-good technology that you're used to, and it can be for a short while, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe even a couple days, by doing that, when you come back to them, you're actually going to feel happy, more happy. You're going to feel like life is more enjoyable, and also many little things that are naturally enjoyable. Like, let's say, enjoying a delicious coffee, going out for a walk, enjoying some sunlight, and just feeling great. When you're always plugged into technology, you'll notice like those things that normally are nice and pleasant kind of just don't do it for you. They're not enough. They feel boring. Maybe you're thinking already like, okay, I'm thinking about the next Netflix episode. You're not so present in the moment. So I decided to start a dopamine detox, or as some people call them, monk mode. Now, monk mode doesn't mean that I'm going to be meditating all the time, but it does mean that I have decided to temporarily pause some things technologically that bring me joy because I've been too plugged in. And once I come back to them, I want to come back to them in a more like a little bit of doing them, like more in moderation rather than always being plugged in. So these are my rules. When it comes to dopamine detox difficulties, there's, really you decide what do you want to temporarily give up to rewire your brain, make your dopamine levels actually go higher and feel better. So this is a lot of them. Maybe you could try one or two. But what I've started doing is temporarily no video games, no TV, no manga. That's like Japanese comics. I definitely enjoy them. And a really hard one, temporarily giving up Spotify. I love me some music. When I'm tired, I love to just put in something up-tempo, hip-hop, maybe some rock music. Definitely helps. So that's a hard one. Also, I have a musician background, so I enjoy making music. Now, interesting twist. I'm not saying I can't make music. Like I have a piano at home. I can make music. I can play saxophone, but listening to music from an outside source, when I'm by myself, I'm not going to do that. Now, another interesting point I want to make about this, because maybe you've tried a dopamine detox or monk mode and, you tried it for like, I don't know, 10 hours and then you had to stop and it just didn't work out. Here's a tip that can make your experience more successful. So let's say that you're vegan, you don't eat meat, and if that's you, I'm sure you have some very good reasons for doing so. But it's uncomfortable when someone's following like an extreme lifestyle and then they want to push it on you. Imagine like there's that like cheeseburger, you've really been looking forward to, you're about to take a bite, and then imagine if like 5 people just came out of nowhere and they were like, no, 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 you can't eat that meat. No, like because of this reason and this reason and this reason, like I'm sure like that probably wouldn't convince you to not eat the cheeseburger. And I'm not bashing vegans. Maybe they actually have some good reasons. And if you were to talk to one of them over a pleasant conversation, maybe like you might be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll try a plant-based diet for a day or something like that. But the reason why I bring this up is because it's kind of like an analogy. I realize that most people, we live in such a technology era that most people are not doing this monk mode, low technology dopamine detox. So a really important thing about this is that I don't push this lifestyle onto others. So because imagine like how that would be. Imagine if like my sister was like watching TV and I was like, hey, while I'm doing monk mode, you must also be a monk and no TV for you. Like, what? No way. Now, that's kind of funny, and you might think, "Oh, I wouldn't do that to my family or friends." But sometimes, you might wanna, like, hang out with your family or friends and, like, watch a movie. I'm married, and what I decided is by myself, I'm doing dopamine detox, but when I'm with my wife, we can watch an anime episode, we can watch a TV episode, but when I go back to just being by myself, I'm going to maintain the strictness. And that can also be like a temporary relief for you. And what's nice about this too is that normally when you're doing some fun technology thing with friends or family, normally there's a time limit. Now, you know your friends and family. Maybe you watch a movie together, maybe an episode. Every now and then, you might have a friend where if you're going to play video games with them, they'll start with you at 9 p.m. and you might go until 3 a.m. extreme and then like mess up your sleep cycle. Now that might be a little bit too intense, but if you can engage with fun technology with like your friends or family, I think you can still maintain a dopamine detox if when you're by yourself, you do your best to maintain discipline. So that's what I'm doing, and it hasn't even been that long. I started on Friday, so just a couple days ago, and now as the week is beginning, as I'm posting this video, it's the beginning of the week, so it's Monday. And I know actually that now it's actually going to get a little bit harder because during the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I had some plans with my wife. We did shopping, we went to like a birthday party, so it was kind of easy to not feel like glued to my phone. But now that it's the weekdays, I work from home. And because I work from home, there's more temptation. I'm alone by myself. If I get stressed out, maybe I heard something at work that stressed me out, like, oh man, I don't want to feel those uncomfortable feelings. I want to just like run away and like watch like unproductive YouTube or like something like that. And don't get me wrong, like, if you enjoy that, I'm not saying that to stop, but I am saying that like, if you feel like in life, you felt like you're just starting to go through the motions and life is just not bringing you as much joy, things that used to bring you happiness just aren't anymore, this could be a nice refresh for you to just kind of refresh your mind, detox your mind, and it might make you surprisingly more happy than you expected. Well, thanks for watching the first video, and I'll see you for later videos. Have a great day.